Hey everybody, welcome back. So we just left the jungle and we got two abilities. We got Dizzy for Galleon and we got Poison for Graham. Since we didn't actually... I was just kind of rushing through it because I was afraid that it was going to crash.
Which it does tend to do on those long dungeons.
Yeah, it seems to crash more on the jungle than anything else, and I was afraid of... If I'd said anything about it, I was afraid it was going to crash or something, so I was like, just keep going! So anyways, I did not do anything with Poison for Graham because it was an intelligence-based move. And for Galleon, I gave him, actually I can show you here in a second what I gave him. Calb, good job. Let's see here. Graham,
So I have a confession.
Well, you have to wait. So here's Poison, so it lowers guts by quite a bit, and that's just all it does. I'm not having him built to do that, so I'm not going to give him that. Oops. And then for Galleon, I did give him his new ability, which is Dizzy. It gives him addled, and it takes away a huge amount of guts damage, which is useful for him. So, as you can see, I put it in the middle there. In the middle of the middle. Alright.
That works out well.
Now you can confess your confession.
So, yeah, I got a confession. So we were talking about Mario games last video. I've never actually beaten Mario 1, 2, American or Japanese, or 3.
Really?
Never beaten any of them.
I've beaten...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, I played the 1, American 2, and 3 all pretty thoroughly at different points, but I mostly played them all when I was younger. And I just wasn't nearly good enough to actually get through all of them when I was that young.
I remember when I was in high school, one of my best friends and I, she was my neighbor, so she's only 2 doors down. One day we decided, it was a Saturday morning, we decided we had to beat the original Mario for NES, like Super Mario Brothers. And since we're being specific, and so we pulled out our NESs, we still had them at the time, and I think we spent the whole weekend, because we were not very good at the game. I guess some people are so good at the game they can play with their eyes closed in their sleep, you know, and eyes closed when you're asleep anyway. But, yeah, another thing I said that's stupid, but anyway. And, we weren't very good at it, and so I think it took us the whole weekend, but we finally did beat Bowser, legitimately, with No Game Genie. I have beaten the second one. It's hard as heck, for me at least, because I'm not good at platformer games. I have beaten it, and I have beaten 3, and I have had the infinite pause happen to me several times on 3, very frustratingly so. But the only time I beat 3, I will admit, was on Super Mario All-Stars. So I was able to save at World 8 and come back to it. So I don't know if that's technically, in some people's books, beating it. Actually, the same happened with 2. I only beat... the original one I beat on the NES cartridge where there was no saving. You just had to go from start to finish. But for 2 and 3, I beat on Super Mario All-Stars where I was able to save at the beginning of a world and then come back later. So I don't know if that counts, but I have beaten all 3. I've never actually beaten Lost Levels. And I never really cared to. I never felt the need to do it.
Yeah, same here.
I didn't have to prove myself to anything.
Yeah,
or
that's
anyone,
one of those things
so.
that's like, I'm not a masochist. I'm good. Mind you, I've beaten Demon Souls. I have no interest in touching Lost Levels.
Yeah, I'm just not big into platformer games. I mean, there's very few that I actually enjoy. Mario being one. So.
And let's see here. So I have, however, beaten Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, although I had never actually gotten all 120 stars in Super Mario 64 until like last year.
I used to have races. One of my best friends, a different one. Come on! She had a 64, and so we would have a race where we get on the phone, and as long as both of us were on the phone, we could keep playing. And this was back, when you had landlines, and so, it was kind of hard, actually, because, I don't think she had call waiting on her phone for a while, so her mom would get angry if she sat on the phone all day. But, we would have a race to see who can get all the stars first. We played the game so many times.
Nice!
But, yeah, we got really good at the early levels, because when we started a race, it was generally, I think it was the fire level. No, I remember it was usually the chasing the rabbit in the sewers is when somebody would get
Yes.
ahead. Because you'd get real lucky. Sometimes you get the rabbit right off, or sometimes you'd be there forever trying to catch the rabbit. And then there was...
If you knew the dead end to get him into, you could get him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But
And then there was another star that was a problem. It was like you had to make a leap of faith to get to it or something. I can't remember which star it was, but that one I think we also kept getting stuck at. But yeah, I got the 120 stars or whatever it was quite a few times.
And then I played Sunshine. And I got like 80 or 90 shines into it, so theoretically I have enough to beat it, but apparently I haven't like triggered the end game event for some reason.
I beat it, but I didn't get all the shines because there was one at the end of a water slide that you had to make a leap of faith for, and if you didn't get it, that was the end of it. And that's the one I quit the game on because I said enough.
Was it the 8 red coin one?
I can't remember. That's all I remember was that you had to make a jump at the end.
So the one I remember is there's 8 red coins on a waterway and you're riding a leaf on this waterway.
Yes.
Wow. Seriously? That's incredible. You're riding a leaf on this waterway, and the water is actually poison, and so it's deteriorating the leaf the entire time.
No,
and so
it
you're
wasn't
having
that
to
one.
use your jets to like jet along and push the leaf as fast as possible down the waterway before the leaf deteriorates. Pick up the red coins, and then make it to the end of the waterway, and then jump up and grab the last red coin. All like on a time limit, all while this leaf is burning underneath you. It's just, I tried it like a couple dozen times. I was just like, no.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we won that fight.
Sheesh.
I only played Sunshine once through. I did not like Sunshine. I mean, I enjoyed it when I was playing it, but it wasn't like I ever had the joy enough to go back and play it again.
Yeah. And then Galaxy, I beat it through as Mario, then I beat it through as Luigi, then I got the last level that you unlock when you beat it through with Luigi. So that's 242 stars. And then I bought my own copy bought my own Wii a couple of years later, and then I bought my own copy of the game, and then I played through the entire thing again, all 242 stars again.
This is a new enemy. This is a Durahan that's part tiger.
Mm-hmm.
And he was... I cannot believe we won that fight. That was pretty shiznizle right there.
That was pretty awesome. But that was Durahan, not a Hengar?
Yeah, it was Durahan.
Oh, okay, I wasn't paying very careful attention.
He had a sword! I thought it was funny that I made a comment about the sword on another video, and a lot of people commented on that. That I don't know if anyone, I guess maybe a lot of people were like me. They never really stopped to think that that specific monster has a weapon. Weapon.
And then I played Super Mario Galaxy 2, but the last time I played it actually was when I visited you. Like,
Oh yeah.
2 times ago that I visited you. Because last time I visited you, we played Super
Let's
3.
see here. Yeah, that's all you did for the entire 3 days. It was a marathon. We woke up and that's all we did.
That was the plan. I mean, it was like
Yeah, it was
12-hour days
fun.
of Suikoden.
I think it was like 1 in the morning that we were doing the plays with like Romeo and Juliet. That was probably like the best part.
Oh, golly. Yeah, so that was like the last day that we were there, and we were like, we're not going to get anything else done in the plot at this point. Like, there's no sense in even bothering to try. And it's like, but we got this guy that lets us do all these plays. Let's just have some fun.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome.
All of us just piling on the TV. And
I just broke down. I broke down the wall.
Okay, so...
No, I'm going to do that. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil that. Yeah, so whenever we do a Suikoden 3, if we do a Suikoden 3 Let's Play, which, you heard it here last video, folks. We announced it. It's happening.
Some point.
Some maybe in the
I'm
future.
totally going to do a bunch of videos on those plays.
Oh, yeah, we'll have, like, several videos just dedicated to those plays at some point. Or maybe there'll be, like, side videos that we'll do on the side or something. Who knows, but... There's several of them that need to be shown.
Yeah, they were freaking
Like,
hilarious.
Chris's Juliet is just hilarious.
Oh, man.
That might have been, like, one of the highlights in that game, honestly. Like, that game had its moments. Like, and with you there to coach me, I got through those rough patches that everybody hates really easily.
Yeah, I was cheesed when you just flew through that one boss, and I was like, that's not fair!
First try. You had prepared me well. I had the master on my side.
Yeah, I was telling you everything you needed, so you walked into that fight, and then I told you exactly the one thing you had to do to win it. It's kind of like I was playing Final Fantasy II. I finished it about a month or two ago, and I was reading a walkthrough because it's like I'm not here to figure out the games. I just kind of want to play through them, and
Yeah.
there was a really good walkthrough. So I was just kind of vaguely following it to make sure that I was going the right direction, not wandering aimlessly like all the early Final Fantasy games have you do. And if there's any big items I need to find, well, there was this one point in the game. He had steps for each chapter, like 1 go here, 2 go talk to this person, 3 go here. And one section it was like number 1, get the blood sword or something like that, in all caps, and it's like get the blood sword, get the blood sword, get the blood sword. I was like, oh my gosh, he really wants me to get this sword. So I went and got the sword. I actually left the dungeon to go back and get the sword when I checked the walkthrough. And so I had somebody equipped with it the whole time. I was like, okay, obviously the guy who wrote this walkthrough really wants me to have this sword. So I put it on somebody. It was a lot weaker, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it on him. And I'm like, I don't care. And so I got to the final boss, and everyone's doing like 10 damage, 20 damage, and the guy with the blood, and Guy, who's his name, with the blood sword, is doing like 16,000 damage, or something like outrageous. Like 6,000 damage, I think is what it was. And like the final boss died in like 4 hits, and I was just like, get the blood sword. But it was a sword that healed you for 100% of the damage you did, so it was really helpful.
Nice.
But it didn't hurt anybody like that, so it's almost like they purposely made it for that reason. It was funny. I got a kick out of that. I'm really sad, though, the guy did not write a walkthrough for 3 that I can find, because I really liked his style on GameFAQs.
So I think the first time I played Castlevania Symphony of the Night, I don't think I used a walkthrough. I think I just went through it on my own. I was trying to 100% it.
Yeah.
And I got really, really lucky and got one of the rare drop swords. It was the, I'm going to get this wrong. It was either the Muramasa or the Masamune. I can't remember. I mean, only one of them is in the game. But anyway, it's a blood sword. So the idea is that as you kill more enemies with it and they get blood onto you, it powers up. And so I equipped the sword because at the time I didn't have anything very good, and it was better than what I had, marginally so. But then I noticed that it kept getting more and more stronger as I kept playing the game. And so I was like, this is odd. And so I went and looked it up finally. I was like, oh my goodness, like this thing is incredible. And so then what did I do? I think I left my PlayStation on overnight in like this one room with a familiar. Like you have like a different familiars that like pets that can join you. And so my familiar was just killing enemies for me the entire time, and I got myself wedged into a corner so that nothing could hit me. And he just killed things for like the next 12 hours. And as they got killed, it powered up my blood sword. By like the next morning when I came back, my bloody sword, the Muramasa, was just nutso insane, and it was awesome to say the least. So anyway, I never knew that there was actually a better sword in the game. I figured that is surely the best sword because it can be infinitely leveled. It wasn't until years later that I saw somebody mention this other thing called the Chrysogram or something like that. I was like, what's the Chrysogram?
Yeah, I've never...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I look up the Chrysogram. Turns out it's a sword that attacks as often as you can hit the attack button. Like, there's no... Normally it's like, you have like an animation. You have to wait for the animation to finish before you can slash again.
Oh, yeah.
No, the Chrysogram, you can just like press the button as fast as you want and it starts attacking. And it has an insanely high attack power to begin with. So it's basically spam your attacks and you can like knock down any boss in the entire game in like 3 seconds. And I just couldn't believe it when I saw this thing. So I went and got that thing, and I was like, oh my goodness, this thing actually is better. So
no, I didn't want to
if I spent like 80 hours leveling up the Muramasa, it would be better. In theory.
Yeah, I've never played any of the Castlevania games.
I know. That's okay.
I know about them because I've watched Angry Video Gamer, like the originals, and I know about some of the later ones from Helper, I think. I know I've seen them, but not my style of game, so...
There was actually a recent Kickstarter by the original creator of the series, and I can't remember what his actual name is, but he's calling them an Igavania style games. His name is Iga something or others. But yeah, it was Bloodstained was the Kickstarter project. I think it just ended yesterday, actually. But they got funded for like $5.7 million.
I just now thought about this. I know we've had discussions about Suikoden coming back. I wonder what would happen if the original creators of Suikoden started a Kickstarter project. Mm-hmm. Because I have never cared about Kickstarter. The only time I hear about it is from you, because it's just not my scene. I mean, the only Kickstarter project I ever did anything with was Evo Creo. But it's just like, I don't think they're going to, but I was like, that'd be kind of cool.
Well, so, Shenmue?
Yeah.
Shenmue's on Kickstarter right now. Shenmue 3. So the original creator for Shenmue, I guess he got the rights back or something, but he's kickstarting
100?
Shenmue 3 right now. So
I don't know.
They announced that at E3 yesterday.
I like Kickstarter and all, but I don't know.
And the original guy who did Mega Man, he's now doing like a Mega Man style thing, like in the original vein, called Mighty Number 9, which I think either just came out or it's about to come out on like Steam and Wii and PS4.
Wii. Yeah, I saw it for the Wii U.
Yeah, it's coming out for everything. So I've heard good things about that. And then there's the whole new Castlevania thing, because Castlevania, Kojima, or not Kojima, Konami. Sorry, Konami is like kind of killing off all their franchises or doing weird things right now. So, I mean, his team kind of left because Kojima had been given control over the Castlevania franchise. So the original guy kind of left, and he's like, hey, if the Mega Man guy can make that stuff happen, why can't I do it? So he's doing his own thing. So, looks like that'll probably be a success. And then, what was I going to say? But yeah, I guess with the Castlevania games, I don't know. I played Symphony of the Night, love it to death. I think it still is my top 10 favorite games of all time. I've tried a couple of the other Castlevania games, though, and I just really can't get into them.
You don't like sitting in front of a cliff holding a red orb waiting for Magical Tornado to come pick you up?
Yeah. Well, no, I think... So
Don't look into the Death Star!
Later on when I was reading about like Castlevania Symphony of the Night and stuff, what I basically discovered was that a lot of the early Castlevania games especially were basically just new maps, but they reused like the same sprites and the same everything, and even in many cases the same music. And they just changed a few small things around and rehashed it again. And Symphony of the Night was no different. They just rehashed a couple of things and put it together. But for some reason, the combination of the way they put them together in Symphony of the Night worked really, really well. And then there's something that happens in the game, which I know the game's been out for like 20 years, but I still don't want to spoil it if you've never played the game. There's something that happens halfway through the game that's absolutely incredible when it happens. It just catches you by surprise, and it surprises and delights. And it's one of those special moments in gaming when it happens, because you're just like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. Are you serious?
I've had very few moments like that in video games. I can only think of 3 games right now.
Exactly, yeah, it's rare that you get those moments. So that was one of the games that gives you one of those moments. And so, just for that alone, like, it surprised and delighted me when it first happened. And still does even now today. Like, when I go back and replay the game, I'll replay it like every 5 years or so, and it still is just incredible. But yeah, just something about that combination worked. But then they just kept doing the same formula over and over and over again, just like they've been doing before. So you go back and play any of the other games, and it's like, oh, it's not like this is a sequel where they improved on it. It's just kind of more of the same. I mean, I don't know. I'll post-fix this by saying this is all just my opinion, of course. And I actually
Your opinion stinks!
Yeah, Castlevania is horrible. I hate Castlevania. Everybody who likes Castlevania is horrible. No.
Stupid vampires!
No, I played a couple of the other Castlevania games, and I've gotten through them to various extents. Like, I played a lot of Portrait of Ruin on the Game Boy Advance, and I think I own, like, all but 3 or 4 of them out of the entire series, including some of the rarer ones. Like, I made a point of purchasing a lot, but...
I think we've seen him before.
We have. But yeah, so I do like Castlevania, but I don't know. It's one of those franchises where I just feel like I bought into it, and then now I'm like, I think I bought way too far into it.
That way he can't do. Whoa, that actually did more damage than the other one.
No kidding.
His guts down.
Well, so now I pissed off all of our Castlevania fans. Did I just say something we're not supposed to say on the...
Yeah, you're making me edit another video.
No, that was off limits. Sorry.
You butt! Yeah, I feel kind of sad. I have, like, nothing interesting to talk about. Like, I mean, all I've really done is play Wizard 101. I start Earthbound, and I was actually really surprised to see how much the style... Because, let me go back and say Mother 1, I guess. That I was surprised that when they made Earthbound for Super Nintendo, how much alike it was to the original Nintendo. Like, all it pretty much did is upgrade the graphics. I mean, even the music is the same. I mean, obviously upgraded, but the tunes are all the same when you walk into the buildings. I was like, oh man, this is freaking awesome.
From what I understand, Mother 2 was basically a remake of Mother 1.
Yeah, I mean, even the main character looks the same. And I did not give the favorite food as whatever it was y'all had. I can't remember.
Oh, golly. Human or something like that?
No, I think you put human, actually.
I did.
I know it was Helper then that put something funny. I can't remember. He just made it up.
So for folks who don't know...
Fushi, that's what it was.
So Smappy is referencing the fact that at the beginning of Earthbound, you get to pick what your favorite food is, and it gets referenced like a couple times throughout the game. So I was in a particularly silly mood when I started the game. And so, I think not only did I pick the wrong names for all the major characters, like
Oh my gosh, you did!
I intentionally named somebody else Ness, who was supposed to be like the main character. I named a different character Ness. And then like I did the same thing like a couple other characters. I just mixed all the names up. And so it confused everyone that was watching me play to no end. Because they all already played the game, and they were like, yeah, just use Ness. I'm like, which one? And they're just like, wait, him. I'm like, wait, do you mean him or the other him? Because I named a character him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, so I think I named the dog You. Like Y-O-U. And so they're like, don't worry, You will come and get you. Wait, what? Anyway, so you could name your favorite food, and I think I named it Human.
Yeah, so then you had some human and then went to bed.
Yeah, so, you know, your mom wakes you up and she's like, I made you your favorite dish, it's human!
It's human! I remember that.
It's just like, wait, we're cannibals? What?
Yeah, it's because in Earthbound, which is Mother 2, at the beginning, if you go home, then your mother will make your favorite food, and it's a free it's a free inn, pretty much. And then if you don't go home for a really long time, which I actually really liked this part of the game because it was realistic. I think that was the fun it was trying to poke fun at this idea. If you don't go home for a really long time or talk to your mom, your character actually gets the saddest effect of homesick. And so they stop attacking and they're like, you start thinking about sushi or something like that. And of course in Icon's case, you start thinking about human, you know. And he won't attack because he's so homesick, so you have to go back. But I just picked nachos when I started this game. Even though, ironically, I can't eat nachos anymore, I keep putting that as my favorite food for some reason. I really didn't think of what else. I was debating about putting tacos down, but I was like, who cares? But I did not pick... I didn't know... In Earthbound, which is Mother 2, they give you the pre-made names like Ness and stuff like that, so you know what everyone calls them generically, but I didn't know in this case. And I said I've never really looked up the game, and so I just picked names, and now I'm looking at walkthroughs, and apparently they did have names. Like it was Nintendo was the main guy, and I was like, wait, Nintendo? Like as in Nintendo? And they just didn't have enough room? Is that seriously supposed to be his name? And like the macho looking guy is Teddy, and I'm like, okay, I totally named him Duke. Like Duke Nukem, and I was just like, I did not name him Teddy, and I was like, I was already debating, should I go back and name him the generic name so I'll know? But I'm like, no, who cares? I'll just have Duke Nukem.
So I was posting on a message board today related to Final Fantasy VII, and it's a message board I've been a part of for 13 years, I think. It's like
That's too long.
It's the longest. It's the oldest online community I'm a part of.
I need chocolate.
And so of course we were talking about the Final Fantasy VII remake that's coming out, and I made some offhanded reference to Cloud, who's the main character from Final Fantasy VII. And
On the cloud.
Huh?
On the cloud.
Yeah, I had to think about that. But anyway, so another one of the guys in the forum, he posts a screenshot of what his version of the message board looks like for my post. And apparently he has some extension in his browser that replaces words. And he decided that, you know what, rather than having the word cloud, like with a capital C, like whenever it's referring to that character in the game, we should have the word butt. So he has a screenshot of my post, but the word cloud has been replaced with the word butt.
That reminds me, I was visiting the main office a few weeks ago for work, and I meant to buy 10. And one of my coworkers found a website. It was like Gaziggle, I think it was called, or something like that, or Gazoogle. Okay. And it's Google pretty much. It's a search engine, and it just translates all the page to like gangsta talk.
No.
And so he looked up an official news feed from our company and looked it up through the website, I'll never be able to look at the president of our company again. That's all I gotta say about that, the way it translated it. I was like, I have never pictured him like that, and I'm not sure I could ever picture him again like that. It's just like, we were like crying, we were laughing so hard, and I was just like, this is so horrible.
I could just see describing like the software. Yo, that software be so be so crunk.
Oh no, it was funnier because it was like
It was funnier. Okay, well,
it was translating our own words, and I actually need to find the link and send it to you. I can't say most of the words on here because of the whole E for Everyone thing, but it was still really funny. I don't think we have a new gadget. I don't. Okay, I must be getting really tired because I always have weird. I want to do weird stuff when I'm really tired. For some reason, I really just wanted to pull the pliers out of his vest, like reach into the TV and pull the guy's pliers out.
Viewers cannot see it, but Smappy was just waving her hands at the TV.
Yeah, it was. I never noticed how big his wrench is either. I guess he doesn't have a tool belt for the wrench.
Well, or it's just a what do you call? I mean, it's a big torque wrench.
I like how angry he is. He's like, "Don't take my pliers."
Is it a torque wrench?
No, I don't think it is. Oh no, actually, no. It might be with the shape of the. It's a square shape. Is that a torque wrench?
I don't know what makes a torque wrench a torque wrench. I actually didn't know what a breaker bar was until a couple of weeks ago.
Alright, well we're gonna send him away because I do not want to talk to this guy.
I thought it was like just a gigantic, ratchet wrench type of thing. And somebody was like, "No, that's a breaker bar." And I was like, "What makes it a breaker bar?" And they're like, "It's used to
break things."
Well, no. So I think the idea is that suppose you have like a big tractor or something. So you got like a nut that's on the bolt, and you need to get the nut off, but it's kind of like rusted on there. The breaker bar is what you use to like break it loose. So it's basically, like from what I could tell, it's basically a gigantic like wrench with a whole lot of torque because of this really long, arm on it.
Yeah.
But it's intentionally being used just solely for the purpose of breaking the rust or the seal or whatever it is that's keeping it stuck. And once you break it, then you take the breaker bar off and you just use a normal, wrench after that. Because the breaker bar would be like too big to use normally. Like you can't like spin it around 360 degrees. It's just solely to get leverage so that you can break the seal or break the rust or whatever.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, and so once I heard that, I was like, oh, now it finally makes sense. Like, here I am, 30 years old, and I never knew what a breaker bar was.
And you're a man, too!
No, I'm not a man. I don't have a fairy.
Yeah, that's true.
We have explained that joke, haven't we?
Yeah, we're not explaining that one again.
Okay, good. I was like, I'm pretty sure we've explained it.
We've made that joke a lot, so...
If you don't get the reference, folks, go back and play like the first 10 minutes of
And I told myself I would not make that joke at your wedding.
Yeah, go play the first 10 minutes of Ocarina of Time. You'll get the reference.
Your fiancée is not a gamer, so...
No, she is not a gamer.
I don't think she'd get most of those jokes.
No, she would not.
Ah.
Sorry.
Alright, I'm gonna have to stop after this because I think it's about to start raining in real life here, and Byron will not go outside in the rain.
Apparently we have like a tropical storm or something going through, I guess.
I hope we get rain. This is the first time I think I've ever seen us go more than a week without rain. And it's just because I don't have a sprinkler system that the world is messing with me. The Cosmos are like, you don't have a sprinkler system, no rain for you!
And I have a sprinkler system and I just never use it.
Alrighty, I think that's everybody. I wanna hit it too.
Pazam. Speaking of crazy sound effects for hitting things, Batman Arkham Knight comes out like next week or the week after.
You just said that.
Well, I'm saying...
It's funny because every time I go to GameStop and I hear them on the phone or when I call GameStop, they keep saying Arkham City by accident. They're like, no, it's not that, it's Arkham Knight! Anyways, I'm going to end the video here, and then we'll see you guys next time when we go to a fight with Graham.
And then we start Suikoden 3 right after that. You heard it
No, we're not starting Suikoden 3, goodbye!
Bye, guys.